Good morning. Good morning. This is a well, I guess it's not morning for everybody, but it's morning for me. It's it's an early one. It's 4:13 a.m. I've never streamed this early in the morning before. So we're gonna see how this goes. Hey, what's up, Wilo Gamer Pro? Good to see you, man. Gun Highs, how are you? How are you guys doing? For me, this is very early in the morning. So, if hey Toad Sage, how are you, man? Long time no see. Hope you have a perfect programming day. Oh, I hope so too. I decided I was going to try to stream early in the mornings before my kids woke up to see if I could just get more time to stream for longer, more contiguous streams instead of doing like an hour here and an hour there. See if I could do like a couple hours or 2 to 3 hours first thing in the morning. So we'll see how that goes today or this week. Obviously, first things first, we have to get caffeinated before the code starts to flow. Caffeinated and hydrated. I did try to stream last night. My intention was to stream for like a couple hours last night, and then my wife wanted to hang out with me, so I bailed in the middle of that stream. Ooh, having an evening hot chicken soup? That sounds good. Is it spicy at all? I kind of prefer my soups to have a little bit of spice in them to cut through all the umami in the broth usually. Excuse me. Couldn't get this working yesterday. I'm not sure why I couldn't get this working. Excuse me. I don't know if it's something I'm doing. Okay, let's just try to run this again. I think you forgot I'm Asian. So what does that mean? Does that mean like it's a given that it's gonna be spicy or what? Or does that mean it's a given that it's not gonna be spicy? All right. So for whatever reason, This breaks. This breaks. Let's see. Watch stream async. All right, so I have to do, what do I have to do? I have to say await run dot try send message async, emit event something. What is it? I have to send this. I have to send a token turn. I'll tell you what, the one thing about NeoVim that continues to this day to screw me up is the fact that your system clipboard, or by default, your system clipboard and the buffer that you yank to in NeoVim are different things. And I continually forget that again and again and again. Yeah, it's given that it would be spicy. Okay, fair enough. Okay, when I tried this yesterday, see, it broke. Okay, so something is off about content is not specified. Bad request. See, wrapped handler async, take turn async. Take turn async, that calls take turn async, which calls run streaming async. Huh. So why is it not? Okay, let's see if we can just get this to work outside of the workflow. So if I do await client dot get streaming response, which takes in a list of new chat messages, chat role dot user, hello, how are you? See, await for each var update in this. There we go. Why is this complaining? Oh, do I need a... There we go. Okay, console.write line update dot Alright, let's just see if we can talk to the Gemini API. So we'll run this. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you today? I'm doing well. Okay, so we can definitely talk to the API. So there's something with how maybe this client, because this is a third-party package that I'm using. So there must be something about how this client. We're gonna have to go spelunking through the code, I think. Homer says, "What's this? The Stone Age? We still programming by hand?" Yes, over here in Stephen Freeborn's world, we're still programming by hand. We have not let the AIs of the world take over yet. What are you designing? I'm really not designing anything at the moment. What I want to build is so what I'm not doing a good job of explaining myself. What I'm looking at is this new agentic framework that Microsoft published for .NET and Python. So it's basically a convenient way to build AI agents. And the thing I want to try to use it to build is something that helps me write blog posts. So like my own little blog intern or something, writer intern. But I don't know how it works. So I'm currently going through some of their getting started code to sort of figure that out. Show dough. Your AI is taking a while to produce code. Maybe laggy web page? What? What do you mean? Hold on, what? My AI is taking a long time to code and now we're talking about a web page? I'm confused, Shodo. Ohan Mule says, "Hi, I'm new to this channel. What are we building today?" Well, good to have you here. Thank you for being new to the channel. Thanks for stopping in. We are working on trying to figure out a little bit more about how this new agent framework works from Microsoft. And currently, I'm running into a little bit of a bug, it looks like, but I don't really know where that bug is coming from. It's something with how so this API or this package that I'm using to talk to the Gemini API is something somebody else implemented. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be playing well with this example. So we're going to try to figure out what the deal is there. I need to comment this out. One second, I gotta blow my nose. Let's see. Hi, Baharathi. We are. I'm not gonna say that word, but I don't think it's because we're not smart that we're writing code by hand. It's more of that I still personally derive a lot of enjoyment from writing code rather than prompting an LLM to write code. I actually find that incredibly frustrating, sitting and trying to write the perfect prompt that gets the AI to output the right tokens. Shodo, do you enjoy socket programming? I'm not sure what that is, actually, Shodo. So if you could explain to me what socket programming is, I might be able to give you a better answer. Hovering screw. You're my son now. No, I'm not your son now. I have a father. I do not need another one. Baharathi Dia joke. Hold on. Maybe I missed your message. I don't see the joke. One sec, I gotta blow my nose. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Barathi Dia, where did you learn to code? So I've told this story a few different times on stream. Um, I kind of learned to code from a variety of sources. The first code I really ever wrote was in college, in my senior year of college. So this would have been like fall of 2014, spring of 2015. I took computer programming 1 and computer programming 2 as electives, and I learned how to write C# in those courses. Then in like 2018, I took a Coursera course from Duke University that was like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And then in 2020, or like the spring of 2021, I got really serious about learning to code, and I followed the Free Code Camp curriculum. They have a full stack web developer curriculum, and so I followed that. So I kind of learned over the course. There was touch points kind of ever since like my senior year of college, but I didn't get serious about it till much later. And now I've been coding probably 4 to 5 hours every day for the last 4.5 years. I'm not a computer science major, so my college degree was in biochemistry. So I'm one of those self-taught people. Let's see, should have just network sockets, IPC or other address families where sockets can be used to pass info from one device buffer to another. So I don't usually write code at that low level of the network stack. I'm usually just making API requests, right? I'm usually sending API requests using some HTTP client, getting some response, or like making a WebSocket connection and managing that stateful connection. That's about as low level on the network side as it gets for me. Hovering screw. I could hear you blow your nose. It sounded. Well, I'm sorry. I tried to step away so it wouldn't blow up the microphone. Next time I'll mute it. Barathi, you're a pro then in coding. I don't know if I would consider myself a pro, but I would consider myself competent, if I could say that word, competent enough in C# and TypeScript that I feel like given sufficient time, like depending on the problem asked to solve and giving sufficient time, I could implement just about anything in either of those languages. Maybe like at this point, like maybe not a compiler. I mean, I guess if you let me research, like if I could still chat GPT and Google my way to the answer, because there's a lot I still don't know, but I feel like I have enough competency in those languages to execute most solutions. When you got up, I thought you were muscular for a programmer. Then I checked your description and saw your description. I have no idea what you mean by that. You mean like I'm not muscular enough? Darshan, interesting work. .NET coder here. Have you connected with Gemini successfully? And where exactly you are getting stuck? Explain your code setup. So yeah, so I can talk to Gemini. So I'm using, and I've talked to Gemini in many other projects before. So I'm actually using this this library called Gemini.net. It's fairly new. A group of people just published this like a month ago. It's basically a Gemini client implemented in .NET, and then the nice thing about this library is, or I mean that's nice, like obviously having a .NET client is wonderful, but they also have implemented an extensions.ai package, which I don't know Darshan, how familiar you are with the .NET ecosystem. But Microsoft recently, maybe 6 months to a year ago, published this package called extensions.ai, which is basically a common set of abstractions that people can implement against, so that if you want to use something like semantic kernel, or in this case, if you want to use something like the agent framework, you can swap in different providers, right? So you could use Anthropic, you could use Gemini, you could use OpenAI, and you could swap those providers in because they all implement one of these common abstractions from this package. And so that's why I'm using this Gemini.net package in my code. However, you can see if I don't integrate the client, so let me comment out all that code. All that code has to do with is the agent framework. So if I comment that out, you can see I can make a successful request to the Gemini API and I can get a response back, right? So this is coming back from the Gemini API here. Now, once I take that client and I stick it into the agent framework code, which is this guy right here. So the agent framework is, again, just another set of nice, convenient library API to make your life easier building these types of agentic systems. When I stick it in here, something isn't getting translated correctly because I'm getting back this error that says that the contents, specifically for the generate content request, is not specified. So something's happening when we're going between when we're going through all the layers of the agent framework code and we're getting down to where we're using the actual Gemini client, something isn't getting through correctly. So we're gonna have to, I think, go spelunking here to figure out what exactly that is. And maybe I can fix it. Because I'm guessing if I'm having this problem, other people are going to have this problem. So we need to go spelunking a little bit. Pseudo. Okay, that makes sense. API programming in some higher level language is very similar, just abstracting one or two system calls. Some busy work setup, nothing really worth doing, to be honest. Yeah, in most languages, my interaction with the network is, hey, new, fetch, in TypeScript or JavaScript, it's the fetch API, and in .NET, it's give me an HTTP client and make some requests. Shoot, I should start learning more useful languages too. Man, you learn the languages you like to use. I don't think there's any languages you have to or don't have to use. Did you watch K-pop Demon Hunters? Yes. So I have 2 kids. I'm a 32-year-old dad of 2. So I definitely watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Not really like watched it myself, but like it's on and I'm in the same room, I meant that for someone who codes, you are quite muscular. Oh, thank you very much. I try to maintain a decent level of muscle mass. So I like I kind of said, I came to programming a little bit later in my life, and for a large portion prior to that, one of my main careers was as a personal trainer. So I try to still maintain some level of muscle mass. I still love to work out. I love to lift weights. It's one of my favorite things to do. Shudo, Steven, very handsome man. Well, thanks, Shudo. As long as my wife thinks so, we're good. Darshan, let me check once. Of course, go and do your thing. Hey, what's up, Mohammed? I got a similar message yesterday. I think you might have provided a prompt, not a .NET guy though. Oh, you mean? I think I have a prompt in here. That's what this should be. this initial chat message. But maybe if I switch it to an array, because it is expecting contents. Let's see, hold on. Let's see, type argument cannot be inferred. Try oh. I guess that's, yeah, I guess I can't do that, can I? Let's see what happens if I do this. So say, that's actually a pretty good idea, actually. I didn't think about that. So let's specify this as a chat message array, like that. Maybe that'll work. Nope, still same issue. Content is not specified. So for whatever reason, okay, we're gonna have to look through how this thing passes. We need to go through the source code to figure out how the stream async passes this chat message down to whatever the client is that we're working with. So we get to read some code. Because I don't think there's anything I'm doing wrong here, because I'm using almost identically their like I'm using almost verbatim their code example. The only thing that's different is they're using this Azure OpenAI client, which is it's still an iChat client, right? It's still you're still using a common interface, but they're using the OpenAI version, and I'm using this Gemini package. So let's see what happens when we actually enter. Let's see, maybe workflows is where we want. Actually, let's see if we can't. Maybe we can step through this. Although that's going to be really hard to do on a small screen. Yeah. Let's just hold on. Let's look at the Gemini.net source code really quick. Let's just see how they implemented this. Gemini chat client. So this implements the iChat client. And if we go down here to get streaming response async. So this takes an IEnumerable of chat message. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like earth-shattering about this. This is what I would expect it to do. It's basically just mapping between the Gemini API's data structures and the classes that the Microsoft.extensions.ai library is expecting. So let me run that. Hold on, let me look at the stack trace again real quick. Have you tried Python 1? It's more AI compatible. Darshan, you're like, hey man, it's not working. Just throw out the whole language. I don't think .NET's not compatible though. I mean, Python's fine. I know how to write Python. I'm just not a big fan of it myself personally. I kind of avoid it if I can, and I just prefer to work in C sharp if at all possible. So I was really excited when I saw that this agent framework supports .NET and Python. So historically, Microsoft has had kind of two main AI specific frameworks or libraries. They had semantic kernel for the Python.NET world, and they also had a Python library called Autogen. And so they sort of have merged those two, or trying to merge the learnings of those two libraries into this library, Agent Framework. But I don't think the problem here is .NET. I think the problem here is, however, this library is basically the integration of this package with the integration of the agent framework package. I think something's not quite right, and we can figure it out. This is the fun part of writing code. Baharath, can AI replace coding? I don't know if AI is going to replace coding. There's some people who are very convinced that's the case. I'm not one of them. I do think AI is going to it already has. It probably will continue to change the way people build software, but I don't think it's going to replace. Nor do I, to be completely honest, nor do I really care all that much because I enjoy it. I enjoy writing code regardless. So if AI takes all the jobs and there's never a need for another human coder, that's fine. I still enjoy doing it, so I'll still write code by hand. Shunli, hello Shunli, how are you? Destroy, you are the Batman of coding. I don't know about that. Destroy, how much coffee do you consume? I don't know. I mostly drink espresso these days. With if I can't drink espresso, then I will brew coffee. But most of the time, I'll just do shots of espresso, and I probably do like 4 to 6 shots of espresso during the day. Baharathi, keep going. You can be a huge creator. Well, Baharathi, thank you for that encouragement, man. I don't know if I'm not necessarily out to be a huge coder or a huge creator. My goal is to just create because I enjoy doing it, and if other people like what I'm making, great. If not, no worries. Is there a way to inspect the network? Probably the body has something missing. Yeah, so I think based on this error message, it's definitely missing the contents for sure. So it's definitely missing that. If I had to guess, we can probably, let's see, does this guy take a logger? I'll bet this guy takes a logger as an overload somewhere. Let's see. Oh, that's the mapper. Where's the client? So the client takes, looks like the client takes so the chat client takes a client. So I think we could give it, let's see if the client takes the iLogger. Gemini. No, it doesn't look like they have any logging integrated with this. I guess if I had something like Wireshark, I could probably see the network requests. But I was just going to look at, I need to look at the agent framework code to see how that deals with this. Let's see, we need the workflow builder is what we're looking for. Workflow builder. So we're looking at stream. Oh no, not workflow builder. We're looking at the workflow. There you go, workflow. Let's see, compare. Oh, these must be an extension method. So where is this? I need the... Oh shoot, am I missing a... Did I mess up the code sample? Hold on. Maybe this is a me problem. Maybe this is a me problem. Let me grab the code. Hold on. No, I just meant I find Python works but better with it. Let me grab the code and work out. Okay, yeah, man, go for it. What job do you do? So if you want to kind of creep on my professional history, you can go to https linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com, and you can look at you can connect with me there if you want on LinkedIn. But currently my day job is as a quality engineer. So I do automated and manual testing for a web application for a software company, for a SaaS software company. And it's a good gig. I enjoy it. It's challenging. The software we make is pretty complex, so it's challenging, it's interesting, makes me use my brain. I get paid to write code sometimes, you know? So it's good. It keeps me close to the product. I really enjoy our product, so I can still stay close to like using and understanding what our product is and the new features that are in it, which is awesome. Okay, so how does stream async work? That's what we need to see. In-process execution. Normally I would use a debugger at this point. The problem with using a debugger in a vertical stream though is I can't, like, if you've ever used a debugger, you know it opens like 6 small windows around your code, and in a window this small is not really useful. Let's see, stream async. Value runner. I want like the actual implementation of what does stream async do. In process execution. Watch stream async. Run superstep async. Mayor, okay, I want to learn Git and GitHub. Which YouTube channel can explain it better? You might look at Free Code Camp. They've got a portion of their curriculum that goes over Git at some point. I'm not exactly sure where in the curriculum it is. Off the top of my head, I don't have any great channels. Some of my favorite YouTubers, though, for coding purposes, are... I'm just going to point you in the direction of some good content creators on YouTube that I like, and maybe some of them will have some Git and GitHub content. I like Nick Chopsis. He's pretty good for like .NET related content, but maybe he has some Git stuff in there. Let's see. Let's take a peek. Git. Getting started with branching workflows, Git flow, and GitHub flow. This might be good right here. That might be a good one to take a peek at. I also like, there's a channel called Web Dev Simplified. He might have some stuff on Git for you. I'll try to think on that more. If there's anything that comes to mind, I'll put it in my Discord. Here's one. Learn Git in 20 minutes. That might be a perfect one. I don't know if I've ever watched this video, but I trust Kyle. That's the name of the guy who runs this channel. And he's super smart and great at teaching stuff and explaining things. So I'd give this video a shot. Also, you should subscribe to his channel. He makes really great content. Another one. Yo, what's up? Another one. How are you? Chic Shrek. What's good, brother? What's the most efficient way of learning? Also, yes, hello, Chic Shrek. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. What's the most efficient way of learning? Tutorials, textbooks, or something else? I don't know what the most efficient way is, because I think almost everyone has a different... What I want to say. I don't think... Maybe not everyone has a different way, but there are definitely... People definitely tend to have their own ways of learning that's most optimal for them. I will tell you, this is kind of what my process looks like. This is the way it works for me personally. So if I sit down and want to learn something, it usually starts with like one of three things. Actually, I don't need a box for this. My learning journey usually starts with one of three things. Either first, I want to build or create something. Two, I want to learn a new technology or service. Three, I'm confused about something. This is typically like the three primary places I start personally when I'm entering sort of a learning process, so to speak. So in almost all these cases, my next step from here is I will go try to find resources that cover these things, right? So let's use a concrete example. Like, let's say, let's use the example of what I'm doing right now. We'll say, like, I want to learn about agent framework, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So this would fall under number 2, I think, here, right? 9 times out of 10, what I'll do in this case is I will go look for the documentation on the thing I want to learn. So 9 times out of 10, I'll go find documentation or some primary source, and I will go start to read about it. Then after I do a little bit of reading, I will usually look for some sort of like getting started tutorial, right? So this is some sort of like most things these days, even most projects, right? Like if you want to build a chat application, or if you want to build a collaborative doc editor, there's probably some sort of tutorial out there on it, right? Some sort of like how-to guide. And I'll usually try to follow that. Now, the point of this step is to help me build like a mental model of the thing that I'm working with. Like how is this thing wired together? Like what's the basic conceptual idea here? Then, and I try to minimize the amount of time here in these two steps, right? Reading documentation and doing the tutorial. I try to do just enough to where I feel like, okay, conceptually, I understand what's going on here. And then as soon as I have that feeling, I immediately go to some sort of project. Now implement it in a project. So I guess this would be my general way that I approach things. So this is kind of a, a read, see, do approach to learning, and I find this to be the most efficient way for me. If I feel like if I don't do these first two steps, trying to build a project is very slow, very difficult, very laborious. However, if I try to build a project with a pretty decent mental model, then I will have a lot more fun and I'll be a lot more productive when I'm actually trying to build a project. And inevitably, the project forces me back into this loop, right? So inevitably, I have to come back. Here whenever I get to a point where I'm in the project where I'm like, I don't know how to do that, or I don't understand that. Inevitably, I have to go back to documentation, or I have to kind of go back into research mode to figure it out. And then I just kind of sit here and iterate. So a long answer, but that's sort of my approach at the moment. Shrek, great explanation. Oh, thanks, man. I don't know if it's a great explanation, but this is right now. This is 9 times out of 10. This is kind of my learning loop, personally. What's up, MD? How are you, man? Good to see you. We're currently dealing with a very long and nested stack trace that I haven't yet figured out what's happening. But we're gonna figure it out. I kind of wonder if it isn't a type problem. Kind of what Muhammad said a minute ago. But before I hold on, split pane up. I gotta take a quick break because I'm gonna get more coffee and I'm gonna use the restroom. So if you guys don't mind staying here and hanging out, that'd be awesome. But if you need to get going, I understand. I'll be back though. I'll be right back. I gotta take a small coffee break. I'll turn the music up too a little bit. So. And also, when I come back, don't let me forget that I muted my microphone. All right, BRB. Alright, I remember I was muted. Which is a win, because no one probably knows this. But if you go through my channel history, there's actually a stream of me streaming for like 2 hours on a Friday night, completely on mute. MD, your PowerShell and oh my posh config looks great. Thank you, man. I like it. I like it indeed. What website you use for lo-fi music? I use a website called lofigenerator.com. My music. And the wonderful thing about this site is that all the music is programmatically generated, so you don't have to worry about any copyright issues if you make content with it. And I finally tracked down the creator of the website on X, and I sent him an email, and I also sent him a direct message, like telling him like, hey, thank you so much for making this. But I've never heard back from him. So hopefully one day I'll get to talk to him, because I really appreciate the site, and I use it for multiple hours every day, you know? Sharkling Joe Cool. Now that's a username. Hello, how are you, Sharkling Joe Cool? I'm not sure what your question mark's about. Happy to answer any questions you have, but I'm not sure what your question is at the moment. I'm gonna see if maybe this might be a typo issue. I don't really know if it is. It just seems weird to me that this doesn't work. This doesn't work out of the box. Content is not specified. Yeah, so something is not getting passed along here. And I don't know. I don't really know what it is, though. So it works for the streaming message response. So why wouldn't this work? I do have an example where this does work, though. So if we go to the code's different, but it does work. So if I go to basic example, so this is very similar. So we're getting a chat client here. Gave it a name. And then we're running it. And this works. So let's go up to where this did work at one point. Yep, there we go. So it's something with the workflow. So if we go back to our translation example, um, so something about the chat client and Gemini, something about the Gemini chat client and the workflow are not playing nice together. Let's see. Again, let's break this down. We're just kind of removing things one by one to see who's the culprit. So if I take the French client or the French agent and I say var result equals await French client dot run async, and I do that, .NET run. Mohammed, what is the definition of create agent? The definition of create agent is basically a lambda. So this is just an inline lambda in C#, where we're taking in a target language, we're taking in a particular client interface, and then we're creating a new chat client agent using the client we gave it and these instructions. So basically, this is just a helper method so that we can basically say, hey, you're a translation assistant that translates text for a particular language without having to repeat this instruction text again and again. Just kind of a little inline helper function. MD, what are you building? Nothing at the moment. I'm trying to get these two packages to play nicely. I'm trying to get this agent framework that Microsoft built and this Gemini.net package that I found online. I'm trying to get them to work together. They should work fine. I don't know why I'm tripping over this here. So at this point, I'm just kind of working through what the heck I've done wrong, or what the heck we need to change in this package to make it work. Because the agent framework is like 5 days old, and this Gemini package is like a month old. So it's totally possible there's some thing that we need to change to make the two compatible with one another. That works too. So the agents work, the client works, and it's just when we get into this where we're using the so what do I want to do to like troubleshoot this more? I think what I want to do is I want to, so let's add a comment here. Just using agent, everything works fine. Note, just using client, everything works fine. It's when we get to this point where we start to build our workflow that things run astray. So let's also simplify our workflow. How about that? So let's take our workflow and let's simplify this to where it's just two agents, French to Spanish. Excuse me. And let's see if that makes a difference. kind of want to see him put this into ChatGPT to see if it can solve the problem in the code. I would be. You want me to paste the stack trace? I can paste that in there. Let's see. Also, I won't use ChatGPT, but I'll use Gemini because I don't actually pay for ChatGPT, but I do pay for Gemini. So let's see what Gemini can make of it. I'll be surprised if it knows what to do, considering if I had to guess, it will hallucinate a lot because the agent framework is literally 5 days old. Let's see. I'm using the Gemini.net. I think it's .net, something like that. The Gemini.net NuGet package and the agent framework NuGet package. When using the Gemini chat client in a workflow, I'm getting the following stack trace. What is wrong? I don't think this will figure it out, Sarwat, but I mean, why not, right? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Why not try Gemini? I'm guessing it's going to say something like, it doesn't look like you're providing the contents array. The contents field, which should contain the user's prompt and any previous chat history, is missing. Yeah, no shit, Gemini. The agent frame is like passing an empty or null chat history to the agent. The Gemini chat client then attempts to build a request, but since there are no messages to include, it creates an invalid request object. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. We know this is the problem. How to fix? The Gemini chat client is invoked. The agent needs to input to a generate. Yeah, you are likely starting the workflow without providing an initial message. For example, if you have a streaming run object, you must add a message to it before awaiting the result. Well, this is a hallucination because this does not exist. This is a hallucination. None of those method calls exist. This is where AI it can be very misleading, right? Because you're like, if you weren't confident that you knew what you were doing, you might spend a lot of time looking for these methods, thinking like, what the fuck? Where's the create streaming run? Well, thank you, Gemini. That's just such a helpful contribution you've made to this issue. Let's see. Officially, they are using Git translation agent async. Are they? Let me look. Mohammed's out here looking at the code for me. I appreciate that, man. Let's see. So I'm looking at this sample. So this is the path to the sample. We're in .NET samples getting started workflows _ foundations. And then we're in the third example project, which is agents in workflow. And it looks like they're just calling theirs Git translation agent. So that's what I mean, I called mine something different, but it's the same exact code, which is Git translation agent. So I think I'm doing almost everything identical to what they're doing, except I'm using Mohammed. I got that from the docs. Yeah. So there's probably other examples with different named methods, but there's nothing special about that. This isn't like a method provided by the library. This is just a helper method. I mean, you could just you don't even need to call this. You could just You could just do new chat client agent, right, and pass in the instructions. You don't have to actually have a helper method like that. Yeah. Sarwat, my disappointment is unimaginable. My day is ruined. The rate at which AI is taking over jobs, I expected it to be able to code. Yeah, I mean, come on, right? AI is supposed to take all of our jobs at this point. What the hell? It should be able to fix this shit. I wish I don't have an Azure OpenAI. Like I don't have the ability to use this particular client that they're using. So I need to just figure out how to use this with, or I want to figure out how to use this with this Gemini package. So I'm just going to have to struggle through trying to get this to work. So we're just going to make this simpler. We're going to have a workflow builder with a French agent that goes from the French agent to the Spanish agent. Yeah, so this is always broken. Now, let's try doing this. Let's try. Okay, so we got chat client agent run streaming async. So I think that something is going wrong here, where we have this message router. I think something's going wrong with this executor, is what I think is happening. Because we know if I just call run streaming async, or actually I don't know. Let's actually try that. So I know if I call run streaming async on the chat client right here, if I call this bit of code, this should work. So let's change this to be await for each. I love the IEnumerable or the async IEnumerable syntax in .NET. I love this syntax. It's await for each. It's like my favorite C# syntax at the moment. Let's say await for each update in French agent. Yeah, okay. This needs to be this needs to be run streaming async. Run streaming async, like that. And then we'll comment this out. This is trial and error debugging at its finest. Okay, so yeah, so that works. Okay, so we know if we can get a list of messages, chat messages, passed to this method, it should work. The problem is that for whatever reason, when this method gets called, it has an empty list of chat messages. That's what's happening. So why is that happening though? That's the thing I don't know why it's happening. So if we do I'm gonna try one more thing on the type. So if I change this to be because the signature for this for run streaming async is IEnumerable, I think. Yeah, it's IEnumerable. So let's change the type signature for this to be IEnumerable of type chat message. And then let's change this to an array. Like that. And let's see if that changes anything. No, that didn't change anything. Error invoking handler for Microsoft.agents.ai.workflows.turn token. Yeah, that didn't, or I mean, there's some output there, but that's because I left that code uncommented. I know this is a very productive stream we're having here. But once I figure out how to fix this, I'll be all the better for it. And maybe somebody else is already having this issue. Oh, actually, that's actually a really good thought. We should probably check the Yeah, so no one's logged an issue here with this. So how does the, I guess we just need to go spelunking into this code to figure out what does it do. Let's see, in on queue. Run handle. What is this type? Async run handle. See, I think they're doing some stuff with reflection, and something is going wrong, I think, when it's trying to resolve. That's my suspicion at the moment, is that let's see, as someone who knows nothing about coding at all, is missing chat files similar to calling text files for values in games? Well, Sarah, I'm not sure I totally understand the question. I guess it might be similar based on the way you phrased that question, but I mean, chat files is not, like, chat files doesn't really have anything to do with code. It just has to do with this chat messages just have to do with this specific these specific libraries, but it doesn't have anything to do with code generally. See you, Arvin. Have a good day, man. Hey, Stefan, how's it going, dude? Good to see you. How you doing, man? All right, well. Well, crap. I'm not sure what to do here. I feel like I need to debug this, is what I feel like I need to do. So this may not be cool for you guys, but I'm going to open this in Visual Studio really quick. And I'm going to maximize my window here. And I'm going to try to use my debugger to step through this and try to figure out where this thing is going wrong. Let's see. We'll set a breakpoint there. Let's also generate some debug assets. Whoops, I don't mean to do that. Generate debug. Well, I guess I can, that's fine. Let's run and debug this. What? The project file could not be loaded. Data at the root level is invalid. Oh, shit. Hold on. Why isn't this building? .NET build. Builds just fine. Oh yeah, so I know you guys can't see all of my screen at the moment. Just woke up. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it's very early for me. It's 5:36 a.m. at the moment. So yeah, it's probably why this is a first for us to meet on the YouTubes after you're just waking up. So let's do this debug. All right, so we've got run async. Okay, so we're gonna step over. Obviously, this should throw at some point. Yep, here we go. Error, bad request. Okay, so let's try to step in somewhere here. We basically need to step into this method. So let's go to watch stream async. And then we need to go into here, run super step. Okay, we're just gonna have to keep stepping down and setting breakpoints as we hit them. So let's set a breakpoint here. I'm sure once we get to the bottom of this, it's going to make complete sense what's happening. Let's see. We never hit that breakpoint. Step over. We step into. Okay, let's remove the streaming component of this. Let's just change this to It's 12:40 for you? You mean 12:40 p.m.? My head hurts because I overslept so bad. Oh, so it's 12:40. Yeah, that you did sleep in late. Were you up late? I don't want run to completion. Let's do run async like that. Change this to new message. We'll say await dot run. Let's see, for each var event in run.new events. Not really. 1 a.m. I guess. Yeah. I mean, when your body needs sleep, your body needs sleep, man. There's nothing you can do about that. No sense in fighting it either. Okay, so that one. Did that work? Did that just work? Huh. Hello world. Is that what I should see? Super step start info. Oh, it didn't actually, it's not actually running through the, it's not actually running through the steps. Oh, chest day, nice. That's something to look forward to, man. That's awesome. By the way, I grew so much in 2 weeks by doing 10 by 10 on every exercise. Dude, that's a lot of volume, man. Yeah, that's 100 reps. That's a ton of volume. Now 3rd week of strength focus. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, that's a ton of volume. Okay, so we are calling super step start info. So how do I force this to run? So with the streaming example, with the streaming example, they tell us this. It says must send turn token to trigger the agents. The agents are wrapped as executors. When they receive messages, they will cache the messages and only start processing them when they receive a turn token. So is there a non-streaming example we can look at? Excuse me. So these are all different. These are all different types of. I'm on a cut right now, roughly 800 calories lower than my BMR. Gosh, it's crazy how good. Well, man, that's awesome. That's crazy that you were doing 100 rep, 100 rep volume on stuff on an 800 calorie deficit. I'm surprised you were getting good workouts in. Actually, like I'm kind of surprised by that. Custom agent executors. Huh. I wonder if I need to. I'm just trying to think of ways to rule out what the hell's happening. Why this isn't working. How do I rule out why this isn't working? That's the question at the moment. Watch. Run superstep async. Deliver messages async. Execute async. See, there's some sort of generated class here. You can see there's some generated, where is it? I'm wondering if I think there's something not quite right about this right here is very much a generated class name. Route message async. Deliver messages async. This is in process runner. Run super step async. So we're in process execution. And we want to go to the in process runner. So the in process runner, there's our edge map. Let's see, on queue message internal. What was the name of that method? That method was run super step async. Okay, so is this dot run context check ended. Current step dot has messages. Run super where is it? Run super step async. I think it's this guy right here. Okay, queued messages. This dot delivered messages async. Message envelope current step. Messages for receiver ID. If I set breakpoints in here, though, they don't seem to be hit. I wonder if that's because this is compiled. I'm in compiled code at that point. I would think they would still get hit, but maybe not. See, skip loading symbols modules optimize the debugger option. Just my code is enabled. Oh, that's probably why. Just my code is why. But I don't want just my code. So how do I disable that? But it doesn't actually take too much time because rest is like 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, that's the only thing with super high volume like that, right? Is like it can make your workouts a little long. But if you keep, like you said, if you keep your rest time tight, it's not too bad. Turn off just my code debugging. I do this. VS Code. Set that to false. Okay. Configurations. We want just my code. False. Alright, now let's see if we can hit those breakpoints in the library code. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted. Now we're actually stepping into where the problems arise. So let's step over. We'll step over. We're going to add an event. There's some instrumentation here, which is awesome. We don't want to step over this. We want to step into this. Okay, so current step. Step over that. Current step. Does it have messages? True. Okay. So we'll step over. We'll step into this one. Okay, raise workflow event. Now, current step messages for what happens here. This basically builds a list. This builds a list of what? A list of tasks in which we're calling delivered messages async. message type. What is? I'm jumping around to all kinds of like deeply how do I queued messages? Here we go. Queued messages. We have 2 message envelope. So this is some wrapper. This is a turn token. Great. Okay. So then we have this guy. Message. There's our text. So we can see there's our message, right? Great. And there's our chat message. There's our content. Okay, so at this point so something is happening here. If we step over, I think this is where it throws. Checkpoint async. The emit ending through an exception. We're back in here. Okay, I think this is when we process our message. So now we're processing the next message. And that throws. Error invoking handler. Generate content is not specified. So let's just set a debug point down here lower. Message router. Route messages async. Let's see. Go in here. And we are really going on like code spelunking this morning. Creatives bro finally uses VS Code. Yeah, I'm using VS Code because we are in the thorny bits right now. We are down quite a rabbit hole at the moment. We're trying to figure out where things go awry. See, this is the unfun part. Or I mean, I guess this is, depending on how you look at it, I kind of look at this as the fun part, is trying to understand a problem. And I know that once I dedicate this time and effort, I will much better understand this library and this framework more, because I'm having to crawl through some of the internals. Which I think, while not super exciting for stream content, is super beneficial from a learning and educational standpoint. So we want to step into this guy. We want to step over here. We want to step into this guy. And I actually want to go into this. So let's see, ensure executor. Yep, and I want to step into here. So message, which message is this? This is my message. Run context bind. Okay, let's step into this guy. Step into. Step over. Step over. Step into again. Now we're executing. Context add event async executor invoked. Step over this. We'll add an event. Result is success. True. Okay, so what does this result look like? Is success. Result object is null. I'm actually gonna hit it. I'm gonna put a breakpoint there. Result is void, so return null. Let's step over. Call result, step over. Is success. It's null again. Continue. 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 I think this is where something's going wrong in here. Require route true. So step over. So this is where it's not successful. Why is it not successful? Because it encountered a Gemini exception. Okay, so we're getting closer to where the issue lies. So that's good. We're making progress now. Man, how do you remember most of the coding concepts? I barely see you research any concept example. How do you do it? I don't know if I do a good job of remembering a lot. I don't know. I think it's just reps. Like, you get comfortable, you know what I mean? You get comfortable working through stuff, and you do it enough, you kind of develop your own way of stepping through problems and thinking through problems. I don't think there's anything though unique or special about my ability. I feel like a lot of things in life are just, you know, if you eat, live, breathe, and sleep it, it just kind of soaks into your brain. And that's always been my approach a lot of times to learning any new field or area of study, is like I just kind of become sort of obsessive about it, which I think helps just kind of like force it into your brain, and then it's always living there because you're actively using it every day. I feel like if I didn't code for 6 months or 9 months or a year, I feel like a lot of the information that I hold in my brain would slowly just start to leak out. Steven says, yesterday I finished my new NeoVim config. Oh, that's awesome. Single file, like 40 lines. Wow, that's incredible. I'd love to. Hey, Stefan, would you mind dropping that in the Discord? And for those of you who may be here that want to be in our Discord, you can go to discord.stevenfreeborn.com and join there. But yeah, Stefan, I would love to see your 40 line. NeoVim now has its own package manager. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm still using Lazy, I think, as my package manager. So I'd love to see that, Stefan. Okay, we're going to step. Okay, so here we need to step into this. So let's step into. Now we're in route message async. Yeah, so this is, I think, where it's going awry, because I think this is why we're getting... I think we're doing some stuff with reflection here, and for whatever reason, it's not working good for our particular setup here. So let's set a breakpoint here, I guess. Runtime type map. That's interesting. If we found a runtime type, we can use it. Yeah, so this is the message. Hello world. Okay, so let's see what we get out of all that code. Continue. Chat message. Try get message. Message handler. Let's see if we actually get a message handler. Looks like we did. This is that wrapped handler async. So this is that. Okay. So then we step over that. We should have a result. What's our result here? True, true. But there's no, this is a void handler. Okay. So continue. Continue. Now we're back in the router. What was the message that got passed in here? This is the emit event that's getting passed in. So we'll step over. Result is null. Okay, we're back. Now we're back. We're coming back into the. This is an emit event. Oh, interesting. So this is throwing. Interesting. Okay, so try send message async turn token. Huh. So when that throws, it's not actually on our hello world message? Is that what just happened? I'll have to redo this. The good guy. Can you buy pass paid products with codes? I don't know what you're asking, the good guy. Stefan, sure, let me turn on my PC. Oh, I appreciate it, Stefan. Thank you very much. Hey, a few Clippy in the chat, yo. Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, he has Clippy as his... The good guy. Yeah, he has Clippy too. He's part of the movement. That's cool. All right, we can actually remove that breakpoint. We don't need it anymore. We don't need this breakpoint because we've sort of narrowed down the issue here. We don't need this breakpoint. You don't need that one. We also don't need this one. It's in here where things go awry. So let's continue. Yeah, this is where things go awry. So it did get a handler. What was the message? This is an emit events. So this is a turn token message. But for some reason we're trying to call. Interesting. So for some reason we're trying to call the only handler we have when we get the turn token. So is there some way? Let's see, sent to base executor to request a response to accumulated, whether to raise agent run events for this executor. Yeah, so for some reason it's It's basically calling our handler function. Add handler list of chat message. This dot take turn. Okay. Hey Mash, thanks for the subscription, man. I appreciate you. Very nice. Appreciate you. What, you hacking, bro? This is so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use this new library that Microsoft just published for building agents. It's called it's called the Agent Framework. I know. It's like great name for SEO. But I'm trying basically to use this agent framework with this other package called Gemini.net. And all morning I've been running into a little bit of a issue getting the two to play nicely together. So I'm currently crawling through the internals of some of this code to try to figure out what's happening, basically. Which is interesting. It's not very exciting to watch, but it's interesting for me. Let's see if I step in here again. This should break. Okay, so I'm down here again. Let's step into. Uh-oh, OBS just disconnected on me. Titan, what language? This is C#. And it reconnected. Nice. Okay, OBS, thank you for reconnecting. Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely... Is this like a race condition of some sort? What if I do... Chat message. I think there was the experience is the same. I think I don't know 100% for certain, but I kind of wonder, is this a bug? Let's see. Let's see. Turn token exception. Let's see. No. It definitely seems like when this throws, it's because the turn token is trying to use a handler for the turn token event. That it shouldn't use. That's what it seems to look like from debugging this. I know that doesn't mean anything to anybody else besides me at this point, but that's where I'm at. Ved's improving. Yo, Stefan. Something's been bothering me for a bit. Are you calling me Stefan, or are you talking to the other Stefan? The Stefan who's a member? Step into. Oh wait, this dot take turn async. This dot take turn async. This is where we need to set a breakpoint right here. Okay, so this dot ensure thread. Okay. Messages. It says one chat message of text. Hello world. Step in here. Step over. Step into. This is null. Null. Text there. Publish current message async. We don't have any updates. If current message streaming is not null and updates.counts greater than 0, count streaming messages, send the response. Then we reset. Yeah, but it's null. So we're invoking, huh? So I wonder if the Gemini thing needs to be patched. So let's go to their implementation. Because theirs doesn't throw, I don't think. So let's go back here. Agents and workflow. Let's go to this guy. Where are you defined at? New Azure OpenAI chat client. Where do you come from? Sorry guys, I fell behind. Okay. So I want to build things by using code, right? But sometimes, / most of the times, I can't figure out what to make. So is it worth just to build things for the sake of building it, or worth it to like take some time, figure out what I want to build, or something like that? And I'm talking to you, the YouTuber. By the way, Stefan, the person in the chat, you're a mod. No, he's just a member. Build things I would use, as in things that would help me. Yeah, def makes sense. But fun fact, if I do try to make something like that, then I would go down the rabbit hole of learning robotics, Metatronics, since I have time, and also it seems like a fun thing. Yeah, so VED's in Provin. I guess that would be my advice. I think it helps to build things where you can understand the problem that you're solving with the thing you're building. I think early on when you're learning to code, though, it is helpful to build things maybe that are a little contrived, right? Like build a task tracker, build a resume resume application tracker, build a URL shortener. Like there are some projects that you build when you're starting to learn to code that you build purely to get reps and to get exposure to particular technologies and particular patterns. So there is, and I know that sometimes that's difficult to motivate yourself to do that, but there is some value in that to get reps, right? To like build projects that maybe aren't exactly in the domain that you're interested. Like you said, you're interested in robotics. So maybe you start with small contrived projects that introduce concepts and patterns to you that might be helpful in the future when you actually sit down to actually do things with robotics. Because if in my mind, it's really hard to learn things when you're not getting fast feedback, right? When the feedback loop is very long, right? So like if I had to imagine it, robotics is probably very complex. And so you probably have to learn a lot of concepts and a lot of things before you start to have that feedback loop kick in. So sometimes it helps to start with smaller projects where you can learn and get feedback quickly, and that keeps you motivated long enough that you can learn all the things you need to know to explore or to play in the sandbox you actually want to play in, so to speak. I don't know if that's helpful, but it's just something, or at least something that I think about. Yeah, long-term stuff. Yeah. So that, I don't know. All I can speak to is my approach and the way I approach learning to code. And my approach to learning to code was to start small, start an environment that provides really fast feedback, and then as my competence and confidence built or increased, I felt like I could take on projects or implement solutions that didn't require someone to hold my hand and explicitly tell me, okay, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, step 3 is this. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Sarwat, any progress? Oh, you're checking back in, Sarwat? No. Yes, progress indeed. So I think we've narrowed down our issue to the fact that we're calling a handler. Yeah, we're calling a handler with what we expected, an empty message array, and that is causing our client to throw. So I want to see in this client, I'm basically going to go look if this client throws when it gets an empty list of messages. And I'm assuming maybe that's a flaw in the Gemini.net library, and we need to actually fix it maybe. But first I want to go see what's happening here. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to paste this name of this guy in here. He should be. I think he's in. I think that definition's in here. Code .net source OpenAI, and then OpenAI chat client. No, chat client. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's in a different library. Oh, Azure AI, OpenAI. I'm guessing that's the library this comes from. Azure OpenAI client. This guy. We want to find the definition, the implementation for this. Man, it's nice when the code's all open source, isn't it? You just go straight to the source. Let's see, what method are they calling on that? They are calling it get chat client as AI chat client. Get chat client. Oh, here we go. So add new Azure client. I'm guessing, if I had to guess, it's this client doesn't throw if you pass it an empty array of messages, and our client from Gemini.net does. Let's see, chat. Let's see if Copilot can find this for me. Where are you, Copilot? Nope, that's not what I want to do. I'm gonna go walk my dog. Be back in like 15. Yeah, see you, man. I'm probably gonna stream till 7 a.m. my time, so I'll to the top of the hour wherever you are. That's probably how long I'll stream. My kids get up at 7 a.m., so I'll probably hop off and go upstairs and talk to them and hang out with them and get ready for the day. So where do we think that extension method is? Utility. Man, this is a lot of code splunking this morning. I was not expecting. I was not expecting this. Azure OpenAI client. So this get chat client returns an Azure chat client. And then, but this does not have an as iChat client, which is what their sample is calling. As iChat client. Show more. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, this is a wrapper call. Okay, so this says run async. Oh no, that's still just a reference to the method call. Client.as. So where is this defined at? As iChat client? As iChat client. Azure OpenAI. I don't know where this comes from. Neither was I, but here I am watching you code. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you hanging around with me and checking back in. I think okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna go here, and then I think I'm gonna open Copilot, and I'm gonna see, let's see, can you find a method in this repo? I love that. You guys see this animation? I love that animation. This thing right here. It's little touches like that that make websites just so enjoyable to use. I really love that. Can you find a method in this repo called as iChat client and point me to it? Also, let's use the incredible new Sonnet 4.5. Actually, I don't know if it's really incredible. I haven't used it before at all. See, I'll help you find the as iChat client method. I found the method in the Azure. Thank you, Copilot, for finding it for me. Persistent agents client extensions. Is that a real file? Go to file. Yep, it is. Okay. As iChat client. Okay, so go into persisted. God, this is so. I will say this is a great example of where C# can be a little bit. It's not difficult because this is a good thing. C# lets you, gives you a lot of functionality to express a lot of things in a very type-safe way. However, you can also see how there's a lot of indirection in the code a little bit, right? We've had to jump across like 10 files to get to the actual implementation here, which is, you know, probably frustrating for some people. Okay, get response async. Get streaming response async. Okay, so this says, so they do assert that the messages are not null. We create the run options. Okay. So underlying though, they're using, what are they using under the hood? They're using a persisted agents client, right? Yep, so that's the client. And they're calling into client.runs.getRunsAsync. Not sure if this has anything to do with anything. Not not sure if what I'm doing right now has it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with anything except trying to figure out why when I use the Gemini.net, it throws in, it doesn't throw in their example. And I think it's because basically we just shouldn't throw. So if we go to the Gemini.net client, when it makes a request, it basically says, hey, this contents can't be empty when it makes the request. Generate content async. Generate content core. Where the heck is that? 148? Okay. Why does it jump? There we go. Let's see. Get type info. JSON content.create. Yeah. Content is not specified. Gemini execute actions. Yeah, throw. I actually think it's this library that's causing our heartache. So how do we fix this? Well, how do we test this? So I think what I want to do is I want to test that. Hey, if the messages are empty, just don't call the handler. Kelsey. Hey, honey, what are you doing? I'm streaming. But I'm almost done. I got up early and decided I was going to stream till like 7 till the boys got up, and then I was going to come upstairs rather than trying to stream during the day. Just trying out a different schedule. 40. I think the worst part in common practice in C#, it's automappers. Hell on earth. So I've not actually used automapper before, but I do love Jimmy Bogart. So I don't know if you guys follow Jimmy Bogart, but he is the one that actually created automapper, and I feel so bad for him because he's obviously a very good developer. I've seen him talk at 2 conferences now, and I read his blog, and I feel bad for him because he created automapper and mediator, and he just gets his packages get so much shit nowadays. But what's funny is like it's obviously a pendulum because for a while everybody was using his packages and everybody sang the praises of automapper and sang the praises of mediator, and now like the pendulum is swinging away from him. And then I also feel bad for him because he took some of his packages. Well, he didn't take them closed source. They're still open source, but he basically commercialized some of his packages. And the whole, I mean, for like a week there, the .NET content ecosystem was nothing but people like kind of crapping on that decision, which I think is shitty because he's put so much work into the open source ecosystem, and just because he wants to try to make a viable like a viable business out of these things he's developed, people are angry about it, which I think is crappy. But you should go follow Jimmy Bogart on all the places: GitHub, YouTube, LinkedIn. You should go check him out. He's got great content. You'll be a better C# developer for reading and following his stuff. Okay, so where were we? We were here at the. So I think I can fix this by wrapping these agents in executors. Is what I think I can do. So I think what I can do. Let's see if we can figure this out before the next 20 minutes. I think what I can do is excuse me. I think what I can do is I can do this. Omen TP. Hey, nice to see you again. Good to see you again too, man. Thanks for stopping into the stream and saying hi. Appreciate you. Wilo Gamer Pro. How long are you going to be on live? I'll probably live for the next 20-ish minutes till about 7 a.m. So about top of the hour, I'm going to hop off. That's usually when my kiddos wake up in the morning, so I'm going to jump off. It's super early in the morning for me. I started streaming at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's 6:30 for me here. So I gotta go upstairs, see the family, get ready for the day, that sort of thing. Yeah, so let's try to customize this with a internal class. And let's call this an agent executor, I think. And let's see if I can figure out how to work around this. I think I'm going to have to fork this Gemini.net and modify it or something to where, you know, if it doesn't get, because right now what's happening is this JSON content.create call is trying to create a it's trying to create a message, and the contents object on it isn't being populated, and so it doesn't like that. It doesn't like it. Well, no, it's not this. It's not create. It's we create this message content, and then we send it to the API, but the API doesn't like that. The API doesn't like that the contents object is not populated with anything, that it's empty. And that's what's causing the error response, which then this throws an exception. So that's what it doesn't like. And I don't know how to get this. Whenever I send this message, I'm not sure how to like when I send this turn token, I don't know if there's a way to sent to an AI agent based executor to request a response to accumulated chat message. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to avoid that. I'm also skeptical that I totally understand the problem completely still. So there's a little bit I have a little bit uncertainty of what to do next because I'm not sure I totally understand. So here we're taking a turn, right? And so here we have our messages. Ignore updates that don't have a message ID. So why don't these have a message ID? Yeah, these all don't have a message ID. How can I see? I'm getting a response back, but then when I hit that again, yeah, see when I hit this again, generate content's not set, but it's not set because we're calling the handler. We're calling the handler with an empty messages array. See right here, messages count is 0. Admit events is true. Huh. Let's see. Omen TP. What is the best way to think a problem? To think a problem / programming in OOP, what should be the thought process? I want to see the whole use case of object-oriented programming before I actually go deep into it. So you mean like you don't want to learn object-oriented programming until you understand why it's useful or how it's useful, I guess? Is that what you're saying? I'm assuming that's what you're saying. My leg fell asleep, sorry. That's why I'm cringing right now. My foot, it's asleep. Oh, so okay, so if I do message ID equals terminal. I mean, if Omen TP, if that's what you're asking about, is like if that's what you're asking about, is like you need a concrete use case to know if object-oriented programming is helpful or useful, my advice would be to go to ChatGPT or Gemini or your chat agent of choice and ask it to illustrate the usefulness of object-oriented programming, and it'll probably spit out a really helpful illustration, right? Actually, here, I'll do it for you right now. I think object-oriented programming is very helpful, very useful. So I think sometimes people can get carried away with it, especially when it comes to like layers of abstraction in their object-oriented code. But I definitely think it's a helpful way to conceptualize and organize your code at times. So let's ask Gemini to illustrate it for us. um, as far as I remember, it saves us from creating more variables. Yeah, so basically object-oriented code is super helpful for being able to encapsulate, abstract um, the problem in the code that you write. So let's just say, hey, illustrate for me the usefulness of object-oriented code in JavaScript using a simple but easy to understand example. But yeah, it's mainly centered around encapsulation and abstraction. And there you go. They actually talk about it. Abstraction, encapsulation, and then obviously you do have inheritance and polymorphism. These are interesting ideas, but I think polymorphism is probably actually more important than inheritance. I think inheritance can easily get very messy very quickly, and it's very easy to create a really nasty and bad inheritance hierarchy very quickly. But just understanding this idea of a polymorphism, this idea that you can have commonality among objects and then not really care what the underlying object is, but you can treat them all or use them all in the same way, right? In the example like they're giving here where you have different types of vehicles, all the vehicles they'll accelerate, so you want to be able to call an accelerate method. I think that's very helpful. I think a lot of times nowadays people will push you to use composition over inheritance, right? So this is that way you can avoid ending up with poorly designed inheritance. Because you kind of have to think, you don't want to lock yourself into a inheritance hierarchy early on in a project. You 9 times out of 10 when you're early on and you're implementing and you start trying to implement a lot of inheritance, I think down the line you regret some of what you do. But yeah, encapsulation and abstraction are the two that I find very helpful because you can sort of have a class that's responsible for doing maybe a lot of work, but only exposes a very small API surface to the caller, which is very helpful. And then abstraction obviously is helpful because you can have contracts that people depend on and people can implement those contracts, and then you can make use of those contract types in other places of your code, kind of making your code much more extensible. But yeah, I would encourage you to explore object-oriented code. I mean, if you've gone down the functional programming rabbit hole, I think you should go down the object-oriented rabbit hole. I think it helps to think through how you would solve problems when you've constrained yourself to different paradigms. Hey, what's up, Stefan? You're back, man. I got about 10 more minutes. About 10 more minutes. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ultimately going to get to actually figuring this problem that I'm having out, but good to see you again, man. Good to see you again. Let's see. Do we have any updates? No, we don't have any updates. Huh. So something's off here, and I'm not sure what it is. I thought I had a handle on the problem, and now I'm like second guessing myself. Did you check out my... Oh, no, I forgot about that. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. Wow, that is minimal. Key bindings, you got your diagnostics. Man, that's super minimal. And then you got a loop to set up all your LSPs. Oh no, that's a loop to set up keybinds whenever the LSP attaches. Trigger auto completion on every key press. Maybe slow. Okay, interesting. Wow, that's super minimal. That's way simpler than what I have going on. Yeah, I need to sit down and probably at some point think about like, hey, could I make my NeoVim configuration more elegant? Right now, it probably to somebody who knows NeoVim really well and knows Lua really well, they probably would look at my configuration and be utterly horrified. That's fraudulent. Yeah, I figured that out. Sorry, I thought that was setting up like you were setting up your LSPs, but then I saw the LSP attach event that you had on there. Excuse me. So why doesn't this... I mean, something is completely funky because I can see that I make a request to the Gemini API with my API key, but it doesn't something is super funky here. Hey Shivam, thanks for the subscription, man. I appreciate you. Did I not set that breakpoint? Crap. Sorry. I meant to set that breakpoint. Then we call this with empty messages. I wonder if it's some sort of order of operations thing where I'm... My default assumption is always that I'm doing something wrong and that it's not other people's code that's broken. Also, why are my breakpoints not... They're like not... They're not sticking. Is it C#? Yeah, this is C#. By the way, did you know you can write quiet. With ZZ from normal mode, you can QZ by ZQ and just Q with Q. Huh, I didn't know that. Capital ZZ and that capital ZZ. I'll have to try that. Take turn. This is where things go right every time. Hello. So what? The question is, why doesn't this have a message ID? Hello there. Yeah. Ignore updates that don't have a message ID. And I'm really frustrated I couldn't figure this out. I will get it figured out, but I'm frustrated it took me 3 hours of streaming to just arrive at really no... I'm really no further along than when I started. Although opening the debugger definitely helped. I mean, I definitely understand what's going on under the hood now. Alright guys, sounds like my kiddos are up and are getting ready for school, so I'm going to hop off here, go upstairs, hang out with the family before the day gets started. So historically, if you're new here, first of all, if you're new here and you want to interact with me or anyone in the community of this channel outside of stream, the best place to find us is discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Otherwise, just like a little housekeeping, if you're interested in participating or hanging out with me on stream, historically, I've always done like an hour in the morning during work as like an office hour stream, and then I would always do like an hour over lunch. That's been fine. I'm going to try doing a little bit different of a schedule for this week, where I basically get up around like 4 o'clock and stream for 2 to 3 hours before I start the workday, and then see how that goes and see how I like doing it that way. I'm just trying to find a way to work streaming into my schedule in a way that feels good to me and feels useful to those of you who like to hang out with me on stream. So I'm in Central Standard Time Zone, so that's 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, so whatever that maps for you guys on your time zones, because I know time zones are tricky things. But hopefully when I come back tomorrow morning, I'll have this problem worked out, hopefully. So all right, I'll see you guys later. I hope you guys have a great Monday, if it's still Monday for you. If it's Tuesday for you, I hope you have a great Tuesday, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye y'all. See you guys. Bye.